The Great Death was the most deadly disease in human history. It began in Southwest Asia and spread to Europe by the late 1340s. The total death count is estimated at 75 million people. 20 million people died in Europe alone, and it killed about 1/3 to 2/3 of the population. There was a significant outbreak in the summer of 1665, when at the peak, 31,159 deaths occurred in just August alone. 15% of the population died that summer. There was over 100 plague epidemics, including the Italian plague, the Great Plague of Seville, the Great Plague of London, and the Great Plague of Marseille, and the Plague of Moscow. The 14th century plague had a serious blow on the social structure. First, the plague reached Europe in port cities, then followed trade routes both by sea and land. The incubation was 4 to 6 days, and when it appeared in the household, the house was sealed, and it eventually led to the whole family dying. The upper-class citizens left London and fled to Oxford and the surrounding cities, but the poor had no place to stay. There was no way of stopping it. The only way was fleeing, and the city was affected by infested fleas. This is how much it spread and through which cities it spread. And the modern form of the plague that we have an issue with now is influenza. And at the end of World War I, there was an influenza outbreak. And from 1918 to 1919, 20 million people died worldwide. And they especially died in the U.S. camps. European cities had the lowest, and then U.S. cities, and then the U.S. camps. The symptoms of influenza are fever, headache, tiredness, cough, sore throat, stuffy nose, body aches, and vomiting. It attacks anyone, but complications with the flu are mainly associated with people 65 years or older, people with chronic medical conditions, pregnant women, and children. Bacterial pneumonia can cause dehydration, worsening of chronic medical conditions such as congestive heart failure, asthma, or diabetes. The flu can cause mild to severe illnesses and sometimes death, and they spread from respiratory droplets, from sneezing or coughing or touching something with the influenza virus on it. The best way to protect the virus is through the vaccine. And I think that funding from the World Health Organization and from the UN could help get better research, because viruses mutate, and even if people get the vaccine, they're still able to get the flu again, and funding would help researchers develop a cure.